Hey guys, welcome back. This is Strange Girl 831. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, noon, or night. So this is going to be my progress on Inktober so far. I'm going to show you what I've done between October 1st and October 9th, I believe is today. So you will also be seeing the piece I've done today as well. So I'm not going to lie, Inktober has been, oh, I just gave you a sneak peek. Inktober has been kind of crazy. There we go. But so far, I've been going strong. I have struggled a bit. But I've got it done, and that's all that matters. And of course, when I'm filming, my daughter decides to play the recorder. Wonderful. Anyway, so you guys have already seen this, I would think. If you've seen my first video, I actually inked this. That was the video where I covered Inktober briefly, kind of just saying I'm doing it, and also adding in my own personal rules. And if you missed that video, my own personal rules were that I was only going to use one color per illustration on each day of Inktober, not counting black, of course. I was going to do it in half or quarter pages, and there was the third one. It's not coming to me. No, it's not coming to me, but anyway, maybe it'll come to me in a minute. So, I did break that rule a couple times, and I'll show you why and explain why, or show you where and explain why. So let's jump into it. So this is my awesome little pumpkin king guy. I love him to pieces. I am kind of upset because if you look real close, I'll get you really close there. You can see here there's bleeding from the brush pen I used. And I will be outlining, or reviewing, I guess, all of the materials I used after Inktober is done. I did buy some stuff specifically for Inktober and took a chance on it because I'd never used them before. So keep an eye out for that sometime in November. So as you can see here, here's day 1 and 2. These are quarter pages. I did, of course, I had to, Mr. Oogie Boogie. I love this guy. He is fantastic. So this was day 1. This was super easy, and he probably, actually all 4 of these guys probably took me maybe a half hour to lay out the line work, and then another half hour to fill them in for the most part. I did a lot of them in class. I would have liked to be able to film it, but that just wasn't happening. So I did this guy here, and I like how dark his mouth came out, and the stitching and stuff. The one thing I don't like, and I'll cover this more in my review video, is if you look really, really close, and of course the shadows aren't helping me pick it up. But the line art is gray, like it's a very dark gray as opposed to black, which kind of bothers me. That was one of the new brush pens I'd bought for Inktober. But I learned that lesson, and now I only use it in some circumstances. So, day 2, of course, is the Two-Faced Mayor. This guy is hilarious. I don't know if I can put this in my video, but honestly, whenever I think of this guy, my favorite line is, "Jack, I'm just an elected official. I can't make decisions by myself." And honestly, in my opinion, this is the definition of politics. So, this guy's great. And I was actually thinking about politics this day, which is why I decided to do him. But, yeah, so we have the Two-Faced Mayor, and he's looking kind of worried because Oogie Boogie is there. I don't know, happy accident, but, yeah. So, on day 3, I kind of got a little bit more adventurous and did something. Here, I'm trying to get rid of the shadows. Oh, that's better. And did something I don't usually do with my pieces. I used pencil to shade because I was limited to the one color. Before, when I've done Sally, I've always done her skin blue, but I really wanted to accent her hair, so I used the red as my one color rule, and decided to, there we go, to shade in, just kind of in along her face here, and her neck, and a bit into the cleavage with a mechanical pencil. I don't use fancy pencils. So I did that there. Oh, speaking of pencil, that was my third rule, that I wasn't going to do pencil sketches. I was just going to use pen drawings. And I broke that rule on him. So I did this completely in pen, did the line art completely in pen, and then went over it with an inking pen. But then this one, I was having difficulty, and yeah, so I started using pencil here, and the rest of them are drawn in pencil. That being said, though, most of the drawings did only take me a half hour, so I wasn't super concerned about time. So that was my third rule in my other video, which I haven't been following. So I really like how she turned out with the bright pop of hair and her lips. So there's this one. And then, of course, Almighty Jack here. I did use pencil again just to shade him in, because I don't like flat white spaces. They kind of bother me. This guy, by far my favorite character. I love how he moves so spider-like, and Tim Burton is a genius. I've always thought that. So, okay, don't mind these sticky notes here. They're just covering up a personal commission that I did for someone that didn't want their commission online. So, here we have day 5 and day 6. I'll talk about this one in a minute. But this one here, I actually almost didn't finish. Pardon me. Sorry, I'm still a little sick. As I was saying, I almost didn't finish this. I did the pencil art, and I really, really didn't like it at all whatsoever. But I had work that day, and I had school, plus with my little one. It was just one of those days where I wasn't going to have the time whatsoever. So I said, screw it, and I inked it anyway. And not a lot of the inking is showing up. But I inked it anyway, and I found that as I was inking it, it came out really nice. And I really ended up loving the line art. And there were a few mistakes I made, like this mistake here, how it's wide as opposed to like a skinny line of the edge of the hood. That bothers me personally. And of course, later on, I noticed that this wasn't quite blended out as well as I would have liked it to be. But other than that, I absolutely love this. I technically did not break my 2-color rule with this one because I used 2 shades of green, and I realized that's a technicality and I'm splitting hairs, but hey, I hadn't broken the rule yet. So the one thing I did love about this piece, back on my Oogie Boogie piece, I mentioned that the line art was really dark gray as opposed to black. Well, this here in the hood is actually the exact same brush pen I used. And I went over it to add some definition, as you can kind of see. Not super obvious, but just around the top of the hood here. And then here in along the face. And I really liked the look of it. I thought it kind of enhanced the fact that it was a hood. So that's day 5. Now, day 6. This day was insane for me. I had something super elaborate planned out, and I can't quite remember what it is at this moment. But I remember this day was supposed to be my only day off whatsoever. No school, no work. My kid was in school, and my husband was at work. And I was going to have the house completely to myself, aside from getting my carpets cleaned. And then, go figure, my phone starts ringing off the hook for work. I can't really say what I do. But needless to say, I ended up working, in quotations, over the phone for quite a while. I actually ended up running into work briefly, and it was just a crazy day. So this, actually, I see it as a cop-out picture. Not a lot of effort, not a lot of technique. Like, I guess it did take some technique, but not as much as I would have liked, and definitely, in my opinion, not quite to my standard. I do like more detail. I liked how it turned out, though. It's super pretty, except I think the stars are kind of corny and yeah, so it's super cute. I actually saw this last year doing, just walking around my neighborhood. It was cut into a pumpkin. I thought that was really cool and intricate. And I was going to originally do a jack-o'-lantern as my cop-out picture. But when I thought of that, I remembered this cat silhouette, and I thought at least that may be a bit better subject matter and less of a cop-out. So, there we go. Okay, so we have day 7 here. This was supposed to be Annabelle, actually, and it did not turn out the way I wanted it to. Granted, when I drew it, it didn't look so freaking creepy as it does now. But I mean, just technique-wise, nothing was working for me this day. I really hated how everything was turning out. If you look really closely, like, the line art's uneven here, the shading's kind of crappy. I did shade some more with some pencil, as you can see around the eyes. And, yeah. It just, oh, and the ribbons around her hair, they look like crap in my opinion. And it just was not, it was not a good day. Not a good art day, but I got it done, got it completed, so that would cap off one whole week of Inktober. And then yesterday, to keep on the creepy doll theme, I decided to do Chucky, and I technically broke my 2-color rule here. I used some red just to accentuate the orange background here, and then I shaded with pencil. I really love how this turned out, actually. My husband wishes I'd colored in his shirt because he thinks it just kind of makes Chucky who he is. But I wanted to kind of keep the black and white look to it with the colored background, because I was trying to kind of stick to my rule still, because in my mind, orange is a shade of red. I know I'm stretching again, I'm splitting hairs, but so I didn't want to go in and color him fully. I also had Thanksgiving. I'm in Canada, so we celebrated this past weekend. So I had Thanksgiving to get ready for. I had some stuff around the house to do. I had a 6-page paper for school I had to finish writing and editing, plus just regular parent and around the house stuff. So I knew if I started coloring him, I would full-blown color him, and I wouldn't get any of my other stuff done, and I may not have him completed by the end of the day. So I love this piece here. Here, I broke all the rules, as you can tell. Tons of shading. I actually used 3 colors here. The brown in the hat and in his shirt. The red and then the blue for his eyes. Honestly, it probably took me over an hour to figure out that his eyes were blue. But we got it. It's figured out. I really like how the texture of his skin turned out. This took me quite a while just because I had to go really lightly for most of it and then really dark into these crevices here. And I shade those with brown too, actually. But I honestly love this. I think it's fantastic. It's not perfect likeness, but I personally love it. And then here is going to be tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And I hope you guys have a good day. And if you're doing Inktober, stay strong, guys. Find me on all social media. Same username, StrangeGirl831. Have a good day.